do the roll call, please?
Hoffman.
Here.
Bowman.
Here.
Lahr.
Here.
Krukenberg.
Here.
Swallow. Harris.
Here.
Parsons. Bowman. Am I calling? Yeah.
That's it. So we have a quorum. All right. First item, discussion and possible action to authorize a lien release for 726 4th Street in consideration of transfer of deed and abatement measures taken. So we have a property at 726 4th, which has been abated, I think, like 3 times.
Adam, I believe that's right. We have abated the property 3 times, and we have a lien on that for the abatement costs.
For the abatement cost, and apparently city resident Darren Whiteley, who has a bordering property, has been offered by the owner to have that property deeded to him, and Darren has come to the city of Alva asking for the lien in the amount of, I think, roughly $4,200.
That is approximately correct.
Approximately correct, to be released if he takes ownership and control of that piece of property. So, do we have any discussion from council members?
How much of that 4,200 was just interest?
And we don't charge interest on our liens.
So it's 4,200 period.
Yeah. I will tell you that I spoke with legal counsel. I spoke with Drew yesterday, and he does not think this is actionable by the city council at this time. I think that there's some, merit in trying to figure out creative ways to take properties that aren't, properly maintained and get them into the hands of people that will properly maintain them. But in this instance, without any other ordinances or rules in place by the city, this would be preferential treatment of a citizen and whatnot, and so it's not something that we would be able to approve today. I have had that conversation with Mr. Whiteley, and he understands. When he brought it to me originally, I thought, well, that's a creative way of possibly helping us help others, get in a position where the city's taken better care of. I think we're going to maybe have to go to the drawing board a little bit and maybe create new ordinances or modify existing ordinances in order to be able to do something like this and still be proper stewards of the taxpayers' dollars. So, all that said, I don't know what questions or discussion anybody would want to.
Out of the $4,200, how much of that is fines and how much of it is an expense on the taxpayers to clean it up?
None of it's fines.
So that
It's just all
$4,200 is
It's all the
what
abatement
it
costs.
cost us to clean
Yes.
it up.
And is that based on FEMA standards on charge?
At that time, no. It was based on hours of labor, number of workers, fuel costs, equipment used.
Yeah, and I believe one was a contract bid. One abatement was a contract bid. We only had one bid that came in, and that was it. So, and he was the majority of that price.
Is this something where it would be pertinent to ask our city attorney to do a written opinion of best lawful practice?
Well, he gave me his verbal opinion. If you want something in writing, I'm sure we can get that.
If we move to do something on it, I think having a written opinion on file in case it came into question would be
Well, his opinion is to not do
not
anything.
good.
He is available by phone if we need to call him, but I'm happy to get him on the phone.
Is this the house on the corner where they put in like the new flower beds and stuff?
No, this is 726 4th.
Oh, it's next to it. Okay.
Oh, the new flower beds are on the right.
person on the right's been taking care of the house on the left?
No,
Whiteley actually owns property behind and adjacent.
This house, as it sits now, is abandoned.
They need to do something to clean up 4th Street, because it looks terrible. It's how everybody comes into town, and it's
How long has it been abandoned?
at least 3 years.
Yeah, at least 3 years, yeah. I mean, I get return receipts off of it, but nobody ever does anything with it.
Is it livable?
I don't know, I've never been in it.
According to Mr. Whiteley, it does need some work, depending on your standards. It
I mean,
could be
is there holes in
livable.
the roof and animals living in it, or is
It's secure.
is it locked?
Yeah, I think the roof's decent, and all the windows are in place.
No.
So I guess is there any other discussion? Do we move for a motion to table?
Well,
I think-
I personally think, I don't think any, how do I word this? Somebody let that get like that, and I don't know if because there's a whole bunch of other ones, and I feel strongly about tax dollars cleaning up their property, and if we let them off the hook, how, are we gonna let everybody off the hook then? I mean, we've got, the citizens got an expense of making that nicer, and that's probably my number one complaint I hear as a councilman, is I wish we could get some of the properties cleaned up now. I think homeowners can either do it themselves, or the city will do it for them. And that's the price you pay for letting it get like it is.
I think legally, there would have to be something that the city gets in return for consideration of that. Whereas Mr. Whiteley has voluntarily abated, what would have been a nuisance on multiple occasions and not allowed it to get into, clearly there were 3 times that it had to be abated by the city. But I think in the future, if we move forward with some kind of similarity to this, it would have to be that there is documented evidence of, somebody putting the effort into it that has value, and then whatever that value is expense that the city did not incur, the taxpayer did not incur, and an equitable amount of that value versus whatever the lien is for would be what could be considered. But there's a lot of guardrails that would have to be put into play. We would need ordinances to spell all that out, that protect the taxpayer's dollar and don't unfairly benefit one taxpayer over another.
Mr. Whiteley does not currently own this property, correct? So, in my opinion, he's it doesn't really matter that, whoever owns it, whenever they sell it, whatever they get, whether it's, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, needs to be taken out of that money. That's the purpose of a lien. So I'm confused of the reason why he's even pursuing this, other than if he can get the lien off of it, maybe he'd get a better deal, but
The owners aren't trying to sell it, but they don't want to sell it. What is it?
The owners are now talking to Mr. Whiteley about transferring the deed or selling it to him.
so,
Like I said, it would be against legal advice to approve this today. The legal advice would be not to approve this today.
I don't think it should be given to him if he wants to pay the lien, please.
The transaction can still happen with or without the lien release. It's just a matter of Mr. Whiteley he asked. The answer is always no if you don't ask. I do think there would need to be action to not approve or not authorize.
Action to table.
No, there
To not
needs to be
authorize.
action to not authorize.
Speaking of the devil.
Well, then I would accept a motion to not authorize the lien release in lieu of further investigation.
No, just in light of legal counsel.
Advice.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to not authorize the lien release for 726 4th Street in lieu of legal advice.
Do I have a second? Motion by Mr. Bowman, second by Mr. Lar. Please call the vote.
Bowman,
Yes.
Lar,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Parsons,
Yes.
Swallow,
Yes.
Rukenberg,
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
All right. Off to number 5. Presentation from the City of Alva Code Enforcement Officer and staff regarding properties requiring abatement. Mr. Grimsley, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. Adam Grimsley, Fire Marshal Code Official, City of Alva. So before you, I have a list of properties here. These all have received letters about the nuisance issues. I've received all of them back. They all are aware of it. I've had 2 that have talked to me about plan of action, and those plans of actions have expired. The 317 Maple and the 1213 Choctaw, these are, I just need declaration of dilapidation on these, is what I need. These are fire hazards and abandoned properties, and they're just an every year issue for me. So I need to get them declared so I can take some further action down the road with them. So, and that'd be up to you guys also. Once we get that declared, I'll probably come back and try to see if we can get a cost evaluation, depending on if we get some ordinances amended, before then. The other 4, these will need to be evaluated up for cost. I need to know from you guys exactly how much this is going to cost to clean it up, and we can't exceed labor costs, maintenance, and equipment fees. So we just don't have anything in ordinance that tells me what I can charge for equipment. I got no pricing. So that's basically what I need. And I've highlighted and read in the state statute where it tells us what not to exceed on. So we'll go by property, and so this is the abandoned structure. It's on 317 Maple. This one needs to be declared dilapidated because it's been like this as long as I've worked here. So.
And none of these are owner occupied or occupied,
No.
correct?
So, and you can see in the packet that,
There's the ordinance and the statute on them. And this is the same. This one's got holes in the roof. And this one's been an ongoing issue as well. It was stuck in probate, but we have the person who is in care of now. Alex Mustang was the lawyer working on the probate, and we haven't received word back from him on whether anything has been 100% completed or not. But I moved to get this one declared no matter what, even if it is in probate, we can still do that legally. So.
we'll go on to the next ones.
I have a question on that. On the abandoned structures, we're kind of in the last phase of it. I mean, you followed all the channels, so we're gonna,
100%.
this is gonna be another deal where we're gonna be attaching a lien to the properties if we tear it down and haul the stuff off.
If they don't pay it.
If they don't get it done
And
themselves.
then every dilapidated property will go to the county clerk's office to hold as a lien to notify that property as a dilapidated structure as well. So anyone that does purchase it, they'll notice that it's a dilapidated property. Something has to happen. If someone bought it like tomorrow, they'll know that something has to happen.
Plot on the title, you won't be able to obtain these.
The only way the lien doesn't go into place is when we send them the notice of cost and they pay the notice, and they pay that cost. If they pay
Correct.
that cost, there won't be a lien.
Yeah,
If they don't pay that cost, there will be a lien.
Yes.
self-remediate.
Or if they, well, if they self-remediate, there is no, we don't have any cost.
Once we haven't done a dilapidation in a while, once we do one, do we just go in and clean it up and then it's forced to be sold, or what's the?
Not at that point.
what's the
I would have to come back. I mean, or you guys can assess the value of the abatement now, and then I can schedule that out. I can notify the owners of it, let them know that this was declared dilapidated, and a schedule for an abatement is set X day. So on X amount of cost also. I mean,
So do we have ordinance in place for the cost to tear a house down and clean the lot off?
no.
So
I mean,
Our ordinance, and that was in the
Situation.
chapter 18, what's included on item, whatever the last item was.
correct, yeah.
There's language in there that when we get to that agenda item, we can have conversations about what the council's wishes are for that language, so that we can come back
Correct.
with a final amended ordinance for consideration. But at this time, it's non-specific. It does state some limitations that we can't, bill for more than cost, or what our cost is, so whether that's.
Basically I have to come by here and get a cost evaluation every time I do an abatement, because we don't have equipment fees. I mean, I can get labor costs, maintenance costs, that's easy enough, but equipment, we just don't have anything. So I'd have to come to you guys for every cost evaluation on every abatement property, basically.
And are those cost evaluation, are they considered competitive? Where if we third party it, would a third party be cheaper?
If you third party, we'd have to go out for bids, and we'd have to take the lowest bid. So, that's the way that would have to work.
And how does that, like, if we do that, and we incur that cost of cleaning it up and then put a lien on the property, how does that work financially?
We don't have a fee structure for our equipment,
Correct.
so that's the issue. We know how much our labor costs, we know how much our fuel costs, we know how much our supplies cost, we know what we charge for people to dump out at the transfer station. We know those costs,
Correct.
but a track hoe is quite an investment if we rent one, or if we use our, Mini X in our
Front end
equipment.
loader, yeah,
I mean,
the
they're,
roll-offs even, the semi for that,
Seems like a better deal to be the third party guy anyways.
kind of.
we still have to pay the third party.
Well,
that's
I'm
my
aware of that,
question.
but those guys can go in and tear a house down in a day.
Well, that's my
Gone.
question, what sort of, like, if we pay the third party to clear the property, and then this property's not sold, I know we put a lien on it, but how are we getting our money back exactly? That's my question.
That's why we need to have
Yeah,
a discussion on the last item. Right now, since cash is an issue, and every time we tear one of these down, if we pay a contractor, it's gonna be, $10,000, $15,000.
Yeah.
If we self-perform it, our actual cost may be a third of that, and so,
And actually, we're only really losing fuel and just time away from other projects at this point, is all we're losing out on.
So we can get more done if we're self-performing. In our budget constraint, we can get more properties done
I
than if
agree,
we
yes.
go. That's,
Yes. If we go out for bids, you're gonna get a contractor that's gonna come in, wanna tear this down for $12,000, and our budget ain't gonna hold but maybe 2 a year.
Have we gotten bids on it? On
I
anything?
haven't went out for bids.
they're not
on-
So that's-
dilapidated.
So that's right, but I mean, if you have gotten no bids on anything that we've done, your cost is speculation. I don't really know, because we do have a local demolition company.
I can talk probably more to that, Joey. We have done those cost evaluations. They're just several years old. Jackson's used to come in for $8,000 to $10,000 a house and put it back to dirt.
I do know Josh Longhurst did one down here, or talked about doing one down here on Flynn Street. That was a blue house where Richard Knoll put his building up, and he was coming in about $10,000 for that one. So, and that was a couple years ago. So I can't imagine there being any cheaper work than what that is. But like Chief Miller said, he can discuss that further.
Ready to move on to the other property? So this is the 116 Choctaw. The house has already been declared dilapidated. They have been moving a little bit on the property. Mr. Kyler Prophet became the estate holder on it, and he sent me a letter, which is in here in the presentation, discussing that he would have everything done by a certain date, and there it is right there. He said he'd have the all cleaned up by yesterday, and it's not.
So are those pictures from yesterday?
Those are not, no, those were just the day that we sent the letter. I don't have updated photos as of now for what he has done. It is a lot better, yes, but, I mean, I don't know what kind of time frame you guys are wanting me to go by on getting these done, so.
How long have we given them so far?
This has been ongoing since last year.
It's like a 2-day project, so.
So, yeah, I mean, it's been ongoing. It was a Kerry Profit deal, and we gave him a 30-day extension to get some stuff done to it. That never happened, and then I went off to training, came back, and it looked the exact same.
So basically what happened is, he filed to be the administrator of his grandparents' estate. And, so we allowed more time when he became the administrator, to, devise a plan of action for the property. Because we'd already tore down 2 of the houses that were part of the estate. And so the court ruled as him as the administrator, that now he could act on behalf of the estate itself. And because there really wasn't anybody, because it was in probate on the whole deal. So now we have a direct contact to deal with on him. And his uncle was the one that was actually storing the, I call it refuge, litter, trash, debris, on it, non-usable items.
What was that public notice? What was it dated back that on, go down? Why don't you sign it?
I have it.
I'm just trying to see.
2024.
Okay, I thought these were ones we did.
And that's when it was all declared dilapidated.
This still stands. You don't need council action.
I don't need
to
action
do
on it
anything.
being declared dilapidated. I need the cost evaluation on how much it's going to be to tear down
Okay.
and to remove all of the rubbish and refuge.
So the person in charge of the estate now has had at least a year to clear this.
Yeah, they incur
That
all,
person's only been executor for like a few months.
Since the incident, yeah, since the incident last year.
just so you guys know, once he became that, any accrued cost from anything that's been abated, dilapidated, cost to the city, liens, he assumes.
And that's his document for the administrator of the estate.
Does anybody, like this plan of action, since you received this, have we been in contact with him?
No, he called me the day that the letter came in, and that's it.
Okay.
I just follow up by driving by the property.
Did he give you any sort of update? I mean, I know
No,
if he's made progress, but it's not completely done, no sort of update on future dates or, okay.
no.
When was the last time we've seen any progress done at all? A week ago, a month ago?
I think it's gotta follow into the next property and end it up.
Yeah.
It moved from one property to another, so.
It's just been slow going on that 116 Choctaw.
Right. My understanding is he gained use of a wheat truck and cleared all the trash out of the front yard. And the next property we're gonna look at has a roll-off, and so he went over and dumped it out of the truck into the roll-off.
Yeah, I saw him drive a wheat truck yesterday. Yeah, so he's working on it.
Sammy, what'd you say? I drove by a few days ago at least, and that's, yes. There's no repair that line.
Was there still trash and stuff?
There's a wheat truck parked in there. There's plenty of trash.
So this is the 317 Center. They do have a roll-off by Red Hawk in the back of the property now. And we haven't seen it move yet. There's stuff getting thrown in it, but the property still almost looks identical.
That's not even a big roll-off.
Yeah.
Is somebody living in that property?
Yes.
Okay, so it is.
Reddy Faye Lancaster lives there, and this is a property where Kerry Profit has been storing a bunch of stuff.
So as far as, you said the trash from the other properties and being stored here?
From the 116 Choctaw, it's been accumulating here on the 317 Center, and he stopped putting stuff on 611 Logan. So there's no more accumulation there, but everything seems to have followed to this property.
And that's all in the alley,
611
correct?
Logan. What's
Because
that?
the front of that house is pretty clean, right?
It's not too bad.
The tent was taken down and
Yeah.
there was accumulation. They did clean the front of the house up and took the tent down that was there, but now it's all in the backyard.
Back.
It's like there's a copy of a ticket here.
Yeah, we
we
issued a
cited
citation.
Reddy Faye for the trash and refuge on the property, because it's ultimately hers,
And it was paid.
and it was, yes, was paid.
And how much is the fine for that?
$750. Because we don't have anything stated in ordinance on fines, so. Well, we only have one fine on record for.
On record order, so, how the citations work, if it isn't specified in our fine schedule, then it reverts to our, $750, violation fine. Anything that's not specified out in ordinance, in the fine schedule.
This is 2077, and I did receive a phone call from the daughter, Heather Penner, and she said that they were going to try to work on it. They did mow the front of this property and the front of the 120 Choctaw, but it's just going to take too long for her to catch up and get this done. And so she doesn't have any other plan of action other than what she has done. And the 120 is just overgrown. It's basically an empty lot of just trees, and there's one old shed near the alley that'll be taken down along with it. And the neighbor to the west of this is starting to see some aftermath of all the overgrown vegetation.
How long have you been in contact with the Heather?
This one here, I've had complaints on the 120 Choctaw for a year now. And they went in, and before, they had gone in and mowed like the front, knocked down a bunch of saplings that were growing that did try to take care of it. And then it just came to a standstill, so.
So you've been in contact with it for about a year on this
Mhm.
property?
I've been dealing with it for that long. So, this item on the agenda was meant to be the presentation. The next item is a public hearing regarding these properties, and then the item after that is council action. So we won't take any
action on this, it was Marshall Grimsley's opportunity to present the findings and everything, and then we'll hear the public comments on these properties, and then the action will be after that. We will have some recommendations for actions when we get to that point.
So that was done.
Unless there's any questions.
Okay. So on to number 6, public hearing regarding nuisance properties. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to speak on any of these?
Is there anything that can be done about Mr. Prophet and his bicycle trailer? Wherever he stays next is probably going to look the same way.
Yes, that seems to be an issue.
We didn't write it out here, but if you do have comments on a particular address or anything, we just ask that you share for the record your name and then say whatever you want. But
My name's David Dixon.
did you catch that?
The one and only.
First one I've ever been to, so I don't know the rules.
Welcome.
Yeah. So much.
So when we come to number 7, discussion and action regarding the nuisance properties, I'm going to own some of this. I have been in conversation with Kelly, and as the elected officials that represent the citizens of this town, I've expressed a desire to have things in place to help some of these property owners that are dilapidated. They may choose to use that help, they may not choose to use that help, but I would like to see something in place to help some of them. In conversation with Mr. Bowman, I believe there's a church group that would be interested in volunteering to help on some of this on a case-by-case basis, not just a blanket deal. So without anything in place to help people, I'm very hesitant to do anything to hurt people, to punish them. So it is kind of my feeling at this time that I'm going to skip number 7, work with Kelly, come up with some ideas of how we can help these people, give them an opportunity to be helped. If they don't use the help, then we'll come in and do our best effort to punish them, remediate them on our own. And I think on some of this, I've wondered if it wouldn't be prudent to have a board of council members to possibly look at these on a case-by-case, whether they be a repeat offender, first-time deal, widow with no means, a guy with a bicycle and trailer, deal with these on a case-by-case basis. And it's just important to me that we represent all citizens, not just the ones with really clean yards. And I know that people with really clean yards want every yard to be clean, as we all do. We want a pretty city. So I'll ask council, how would council prefer this? Would you rather see a board of a few members, or would you rather see it come before council as a discussion amongst all council members on a case-by-case basis? How would you guys, yours is the final say.
I'd like to see a system in place that, where we do put our best foot forward to help these people, whether that's, and when I say, I truly believe when I say helping people, the city going in and tearing a property down for them that they don't have the means to do is helping them. Or maybe that if they were to go with Jackson's, it costs $10,000 and the city only bills $5,000. Where we already have the labor force and the equipment, and if we can find a way that it is cheaper for us to self-perform these, and we have people who we can use to do that, I think that's great. You know, then at that point you file a lien, you work with the owner, and a lien doesn't automatically mean, you know, a lien is a scary word to some people, but it doesn't automatically mean that in 30 days your property sells. You say, hey, what, you know, we got to recover our costs. When you sell this property, of course, we're going to get paid. Let's get you set up on a payment plan. Whether that's $100 a month, $200 a month, $50 a month, you know, they're trying, because maybe that's whatever they can afford. So I would like to see something like that where, you know, we don't necessarily go at them with a, you know, hey, we're going to tear your house down if it's not fixed by this date. Say, you know, this is a problem. We both know it's a problem. What can we do to help solve this problem and have a solution where the property's cleaned up, your neighbors are happier? The ones that I think get a little bit iffy is when they are occupied. If they're occupied, I don't know what the laws are there. I definitely don't want to kick an elderly lady out of her house because she has trash in her yard. That's not okay with me. Now, if it's an abandoned property, the owner lives in California, they're not responding, absolutely, but it is a case-by-case scenario. Because if it's someone that's truly an elderly lady that's having issues that, you know, can't get something done, or maybe she's being taken advantage by other people, you know, I definitely want to be as helpful as we can.
And I think it's obvious that council's gonna have to come together to work up some ordinances or refine some ordinances.
But if we're helping them, why wouldn't, it seems unfair to help them at the same time. As it doesn't at the same time, because you're not helping me. What if I decided to quit mowing my yard? And I'm like,
I was gonna ask that
city
from,
can do that.
I was
It's
gonna ask
like-
that from Drew's perspective too, like,
It's
if you do have the financial
encouraging
means
to
to,
neighbor almost.
if you do have the financial means to tear down the house and do it, what's to stop everybody in town who buys a property to coming to the city and saying, hey, will you do this for a third of the cost because you did it for Joe Blow down the street? I guess, what will be the system in place to stop that? And I'm not saying we shouldn't help those in need, I'm just saying, how do we stop the whole town from doing
These
that?
houses took 10 years to get this way. We just keep pushing it down the road, and it's in front of us. I mean, they didn't happen overnight.
How much time, getting to the point of an abandoned house, how much time have you guys spent going through the process that you do?
Okay.
So, our ordinances, and I understand Joey's means and Parsons' means on the whole deal. The problem that, and the time that's spent, we're talking about years, guys, that we've been, it's a repetitive deal on these properties, and these just ain't all of them. You know, we have citizens that are in our office daily, filing complaints daily, and we have no plan of action whatsoever. Our ordinances, I'll get into it, and I'll talk to you in full depth of how we are hindered by our ordinances to make anything done and start working on these properties. We tall weeds and trash abatement, we go, we talk to you, we give you a letter, you got 10 days. If you need more time, you gotta give us a plan of action. They don't do it. We continue to go through this process over and over and over and over. And some of these properties, like I said, we deal with the same complainants every year. It's the same problem. They're habitual offenders and they never take care of it. I understand you guys want to help, but you got to give us the resources. Because my office, which is over the code official and the fire marshal, we can't do it.
You have ideas of some ordinances we could,
I have a lot of ideas because we've researched other towns and how the processes went that we'll speak about in the coming agenda items. Don't want to get too far in depth into it, but you are our direction in the whole deal. You as the council members, you're the ones that, and we'll talk about it in the ordinance. It comes to you to direct us how we need to do this. We feel we're kind of handcuffed because we continue to just replay the broken record.
Mow your yard.
Mow your yard, mow your
2
yard,
months
mow your
later,
yard.
haven't been out again.
And,
It's just,
you know, I totally agree with you. You guys can come up with the process with people that don't have means to do it. But, you know, I think this town and the people that come to me, and the people that drive to me, and the citizens of Alva want this town cleaned up. And,
There's a double-edged sword to it, that it's not fair to the people around them, that's devaluing their property.
I agree, absolutely. Yeah.
But-
I lived right next door to two houses for 25 years that was in this position. Joe's family came, bought the places, cleaned it all up. It's been amazing. Once a year, I'd get a hold of the city and say, hey, can you get somebody to clean it up? They'd mow it once a year. So, I mean, I definitely understand the nuisance of it.
we're just
I just
asking.
don't want to hurt the little old lady.
I'm not saying we should.
And we're not gonna kick
And that's,
people
and I'm
out.
just, no, and I mean, that's kind of an extreme. I mean, most of these, I agree, and to some extent, and I don't take this as an attack at all. This was approved in 2024. I don't know why it's not done yet, and I know there's
And we're gonna
reasons.
talk
And
about
I know
that
there's
in
reasons,
chapter
but don't
18.
take, but I mean, but that's, so, I mean, as far as time wise, I mean, if we declared some dilapidated 2024, we have gone above and beyond. So I'm not saying maybe necessarily on these, but I'm saying whenever we write the ordinances, trying to make it as friendly as possible, but still we're able to get stuff done.
And my recommendation, and I talked with Mayor Melton, and I want to make it to you guys, you know, my recommendation, I know he's talking about a group of council members to look at these ordinances. I would implore to you guys to bring in some citizens that want to be involved and help write these ordinances to make these processes move faster.
We have to get serious about something, or
I agree, yeah.
it's getting worse every day.
These houses need to stay on there because these guys have put them through the process.
Right.
Maybe going forward we do this, but what's in front of us now are these, and these folks
Right.
have had the opportunity already.
So if I can break into this.
Sure.
We've kind of drifted off into number 8, which is really a discussion regarding those ordinances. So I'd like to back up, and we're going to entertain motions on 7A through F individually and make action on those, and then we'll bring to number 8 and continue the discussion that we're in currently.
Sounds good.
Well, I have a question back on what you were saying a few minutes ago. You want a group of council members, a board to do what now?
Can we move that to 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's germane to number 8.
Okay, one more question. Out of the houses on the list, which ones are dilapidated?
So, I'll pull it up.
Yeah, the first 377 Maple, 1213 Choctaw.
So, the declaration of dilapidation is requested for 317 Maple and 1213 Choctaw.
And are
And there was another one on there, the one in 24, wasn't that?
It's already been.
That was just a document stating that it's posted in the paper.
out of those two, are either of those owner occupied?
No.
Okay, so the 317 and 1213, no one's living there?
No one's living,
Okay.
utilities
Both
are
abandoned
gone.
Abandoned
We're
structures.
going to look for a motion to declare them.
Dilapidated.
So right now you just need a
Okay, so 7A, which is 317 Maple, I will entertain a motion to declare this property dilapidated.
I will make a motion to declare 317 Maple Street dilapidated.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Parsons, second by Mr. Kruckenberg, to declare 317 Maple Street dilapidated. Would you please call the vote?
Parsons,
Yes.
Kruegenberg,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Swallow. Yes. Marv,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Okay, then moving to 7B, which is 1213 Choctaw Street, I would entertain a motion to declare that property dilapidated. Would you pull that picture up, please, Kelly?
I'd make a motion to declare 1213 Choctaw Street dilapidated.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Parson and a second by Mr. Hoffman-Lar. Mr. Hoffman. Oh, Kruckenberg, I
I don't
thought
know,
it
I
was.
got it first, yeah. I'd say anything.
Please call the vote.
Roll
Parsons.
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Lahr.
Yes.
Swallow. Yes. Harris.
Yes.
Rutenberg.
Yes.
Okay, so 7, and we have to do these individually, C, D, E, and F.
The way they're listed, yes, we have to do them individually. So, based on the discussion on how to handle what to do next, that we will take up on item 8. We can either take up item 8 and come back to these, or, and actually that's not what I said to you a second ago, but it might be take up item 8 and then come back and see if we want to take action on
I
those.
think 8's going to be such an abyss that it might be hard to come back. I personally, which I'm not in charge here, I'm just the mayor, but I personally would like to see items 7, C, D, E, and F be tabled for just a short moment till the next council meeting to give us time to make it through 8, possibly come up with a board or an avenue to decide what we're going to do. And I believe there's some ordinance and charges that need to be in place before we clean properties. Am I correct in that?
It can be set by resolution.
Right. So I would like to see these tabled until we can come up with the proper resolutions, ordinances, avenues.
There's a safety hazard on Center Street when you go down the, I don't even know how. There's a lot of stuff back there.
Good, so,
I mean, it's into the alley, a lot of stuff.
And has been, yeah.
How long have you been dealing with that problem?
A couple of months.
Over a month and a half.
It's a fairly fresh problem.
But it is a sequential problem from other properties that are on the,
That's a lot of stuff. Somebody's carrying that in there. It's just like, what do you do with it? I thought I had a lot of stuff.
well, it took about 3 or 4 weeks to get that way. And it's been 5 or 6 weeks since notice.
I spoke to the neighbor to the west of that property last year for a fence, and it wasn't like that then.
Right.
So it's taken less than a year for all of that to accumulate.
Is that something that the property owner is depositing the rubbish on the property, or is she giving the person doing it permission?
No, she stated she did not give any permission to have that accumulate on her property. When I spoke with her, when she paid her citation, and she was going to make him take care of it, and she goes, if I could have got a roll-off, and I gave her the contact for the roll-off, she got the roll-off, paid her fine, and said, I'll get that taken care of immediately, and we took her word for it. We've been giving them time, kind of giving that grace, more than the ordinance allows, to help those individuals before we issue her another $750 fine, because we should.
well, if it's true that she has said that whoever cannot put that on her property, then how is that person not? I mean, that seems like a crime. I can't just go to your house and throw a washing machine in your front yard and drive off. That's surely somehow illegal.
Brian Miller would hold you accountable for that, where this property owner is not willing to do
I don't
something.
think that
She
would be a
doesn't want
police
to-
thing, isn't it? That is a crime, so
But
she
she's
tells
not
them.
willing to call the police on the person, correct?
Well,
Correct.
so our citations that we can issue on the whole deal has states, and we'll talk about that in chapter 18. We just have to follow it, and you'll understand once we start talking about it.
As long as they're gonna get brought back up at the next meeting, I'm fine with the table.
Okay, so can we do those, we have to do those separately, correct?
The way the agenda is posted, we do need to do those separately.
Okay, I would accept a motion to table any action on 7C, 116 Choctaw.
I'll motion to the table, item C, 116 Choctaw Street.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Lahr, second by Mr. Parson. Please call the vote.
Lahr.
Case 7D, I would accept, I'd accept a motion to table 7D, 317 Center Street. Do I have a motion?
Trash in the back.
And you can change the motion. We can go ahead and declare it in need, but we still have to change
So what,
the proper wording again.
so what we're seeking here is a fee structure to follow. And where we get into, where we don't have current fees set up, we know what our labor costs, like I said, and we will do that. We know what our fuel costs, we will do that. We know what our supplies cost, we will do that. There are FEMA rates established for heavy equipment. And that is one way to establish how much it costs us to use the roll-off semi, to use the backhoe, or the, skid steers, whatever it is that we have to use for cleaning the property. There's an option to do that. There's also an option to take whatever equipment we use and whatever it's worth, and we we assign a value based on the value of the equipment and the time it was used over what would be considered we would go in and look at how many hours is this piece of equipment supposed to last before it's considered fully depreciated, and then have an hourly rate that we establish that way. Give us the guidance on that, and we will go and abate the nuisance, and the fees will be set up accordingly to what your wishes are.
Well, like this deal here, I guarantee you the neighbors got to be, talk about rodents, talk about, other animals, talk about probably a stench. And I honestly think, and I could be mistaken, if we went in and we cleaned this up and we sent her the bill for our cost, she would probably appreciate that, right? She just doesn't have a way to get it done. I would assume.
We've got to get rid of that
That's the
stuff
house
because it's
that's
just
got
going
the
to end
roll-off
up somewhere else.
Because we're not trying to tear her house down, we're trying to just get rid of all this junk, right?
Correct.
If we declare this dilapidated, we're not gonna tear the house down.
We're not declaring this dilapidated.
Not declaring.
Declaring.
Abating, okay.
This is cost evaluation for the abatement.
This is a trash and rubbish.
So if our ordinances were set up how they probably should be, you wouldn't even have to come to us and ask us to do this.
Correct, you guys would give me the authority.
Okay, that's
That's what we'll talk
So
about
if we
in
set
chapter
that up
18.
in the next meeting, then we don't even have to jump through the.
Yeah, they're the professionals.
We won't be done talking about this tonight,
Yeah, I know that.
but we can have clarity on what to do with these properties right now, if you're able to offer clarity. The easy thing for us to do is if we use a payloader to load all this stuff up, and we use a roll-off and a semi, there are FEMA rates established for what those are, and we can use that as our rate. I don't think there's any other option except to take what the value of the depreciated value of our equipment times the useful life expectancy of that equipment, and divide it out over the number of hours that equipment was used.
so
Because some of our equipment's not in FEMA rates, so they just don't have those. We can do comparables, but size, whatever, but I think you're right, and I think we'd have to do the depreciation value.
And if you tell us to
Right
use
now.
that method, we can get it done.
So, can this be a motion? I make a motion to proceed with cleanup of 317 Center using labor rates and FEMA or depreciation of equipment if FEMA rates are not available for select equipment,
And then send it in the bill.
Yeah.
and bill the,
Let me see if I can restate your motion.
okay,
Make it sound like a lawyer.
yeah, make it sound like, yeah.
Your motion is to proceed with abatement, establishing fees consistent with FEMA in the absence of depreciated value
I think maybe we need to get wording from Drew on that.
Well,
This will,
this is just one, I mean, this,
Or do you just make a motion to abate the property?
well, I think we have to have
we
guidance
are
on there.
obligated to abate the nuisance. There's not, that's not up for discussion. It's the setting the fees for doing so.
Yeah.
We just can't make up costs. I mean, we're gonna have to base it on something, whether it's by FEMA rate. That would be my recommendation right now for one individual property, because they are established with the equipment that we do have. And then we can work on doing a fee schedule rate that you guys see fit for those abatements of those nuisances. That would be my recommendation.
How soon would this be cleaned up if we give the okay tonight?
It's gonna be on the availability of staff and projects and things that's going on. We have to work within their
So it
schedule.
could be weeks, months?
No, I don't think
It won't
that.
take that long.
No.
The next meeting, well,
It'll be cleaned up by next meeting.
Yeah.
There's
That's
no,
faster than our street crews.
there's no requirement to write them
That's
another
what we do.
ticket.
They
We should. We haven't.
But I mean, if,
Honestly, the reason why we haven't is because I said not to, because I think it's gonna cause an undue hardship. She's paid it once. Some progress started, but that was my call.
yeah, I'd rather be her paying the bill of cleaning it up than paying a ticket. She's getting nothing for the ticket, So that to me is a much better deal for the citizen and for us because it's getting done, no doubt. Yeah. So do I have to repeat what you said?
So could the
Does
motion,
everybody remember what Joe said?
could the motion just be to abate 317, the 317 Center Street?
Using
Yeah,
FEMA
317
standards.
Center Street using FEMA guidelines.
FEMA cost standards.
FEMA cost standards. I motion to abate 317 Center Street using FEMA cost standards.
Do we have a second?
Sanford.
Okay, motion by Mr. Lahr, second by Mr. Kruppenberg. Call the vote, please.
Moore,
Yes.
Rutenberg,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Bowman,
yes,
Parsons,
Yes.
Swallow. Yes. Harris.
Yes.
So you had one motion that did not get a second, and you had another motion that did get a second. All right.
So Joe's motion did get a second. Garrett's did.
It's almost like you're a brother.
Do you want me to answer that? No, I'm kidding.
So E and F are both the same property owner.
This is the gentleman that's just been moving trash from location.
No.
Oh, okay.
E and F are the same property owner, and they have started mowing.
Okay.
I'll accept a motion from city council, which way they want to go.
And you do E,
7E, 2077.
Do y'all have any sort of plan of action from this property owner at all?
I have not received one.
And how long's it been since he's been notified?
Well, we had a lien on it last year that was filed through on his county tax assessment. He did pay that lien for the abatement last year, and now it's back again for the same thing.
So did this come to council last year?
This did not.
So how were we able to do it last year, but we're not able to do it this year?
Like, how did we abate it last year?
Yeah, I made it and put a lien on it.
So, I guess,
Well, I just based it off on labor hours.
no, that's not what he's talking about.
it's not a dilapidated.
It's not as dilapidated.
Oh, yeah.
It's just an abatement. It's a
It's
clean
just-
Yeah,
up, not a
it's-
correct. Yeah, it's just an abatement. It's just a mowing of the weeds, basically.
We're not tearing down the
We're not
house.
tearing it down.
So, is there something in ordinance that says you have to come to us?
We'll talk about that in
Yeah.
18. It'll make 10 times more sense to you
Yes.
when we get.
Okay.
Yeah, we get there.
So, yeah, this one, our abatement is not going to be, well, that little building, that little shed would be tore down, but the residence, the house is not scheduled for tear down, is it?
Correct.
Okay. And again, this would be either motion to table or motion to proceed with the, and that you could use the same language as you used on the last motion.
Does that include like getting rid of all the non-running vehicles and
Yes.
half trailers and whatnot? Does that turn into a disaster when you're getting rid of a vehicle?
No.
Isn't that on the next property with the 120 Choctaw?
Oh, I thought we were on two of them.
Yeah, that's what it says. It does have some
No,
inoperable
it's
vehicles.
on this one. This
It's
thing's
on this one.
Yeah, it was in the first picture, there was a pickup in the
Yep,
front
one more.
yard or something.
One more other.
There's a pickup bed.
Pickup bed trailers,
Couple pickups in the yard.
Yeah, I think there was.
got like $8.
Yeah, but there's nothing illegal about an $8
Yeah.
pickup that
That's
trailer.
what I was gonna say, that's.
You can leave whatever you want us to leave. That's on the vehicle.
We're on, okay, yeah, we're on 277. These are the pictures from there.
What are the reasons, what are his reasons for not cleaning it up? Can he clean it up? I mean, does he have the abilities to do it?
They don't have the abilities, no.
How does he feel about the city cleaning it up for him?
They haven't expressed anything.
Oh, we need to clean it up for him, I guess.
And we can do that by ordinance. And we'll talk about that in 18. We do have something similar set up in there that he can sign off for us to clean it up, but he has to pay.
That should.
Okay, so I'll entertain some form of a motion on item 7E. Like Kelly says, it's either to table or to abate.
It would be to set the fee structure. The nuisance is established.
Yeah, it's just like the previous one. Do you want us to abate it per FEMA cost evaluation or not?
I'll make a motion to abate 207 7th Street per FEMA cost evaluation
Yeah, our standards.
standards.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Bowman, second by Mr. Hoffman. Please call the vote.
Bowman,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Ferris,
Yes.
Swallow. Yes. Clark,
Yes.
Parsons,
Yes.
Rutenberg.
Yes.
All right, next is 7F, 120 Choctaw.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to abate 120 Choctaw Street per FEMA. What was that word?
FEMA standards.
FEMA fee standard.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bowman, second by Mr. Hoffman. Please call the vote.
Bowman,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Parsons,
Yes.
Rutenberg,
Yes.
Ferris,
Yes.
Swallow. Yes.
So we only left one
Well, and
on the thing, can we circle back?
there's,
Can we go another?
because I really
the
didn't,
reason we didn't on that.
well, I didn't fully understand that, I'll be honest with you. My thing was, I thought we were by doing this, we meant we were gonna tear a structure down, so it was just a misunderstanding of the agenda. I mean, that, I do not like the fact that we're letting one person have another
Well,
month
that's
and
kinda
no one
what
else,
we,
that's
Well,
ridiculous.
Now, if I'm correct, 116 does have a structure to tear down.
Oh, does it?
It does have a structure to tear down.
Okay, so that's the difference, that's,
I mean, we can postpone that to a later date too.
Table
we were gonna table, I thought we were tabling them all.
It's not gonna be.
Is the 116 Choctaw known as like the
Yeah, they kind
trash
of
in the road?
Ran loose like a bunch of young yearlings.
It has.
It has, yeah, they seen it. They were just talking about the abatement of it. I mean, we don't have to tear the house down right now. We can clean the property
We're
up.
talking about the Providence House,
Yes.
right?
yeah.
It's just not this.
Can we go back to the
No,
116?
this is the 120
Pictures
Let me call her.
that allows that?
what's
Hey,
current.
Joe,
Yeah, that's.
that house is already been declared, dilapidated.
Oh, okay.
So
Is
what-
this the one that had the new?
So I don't think you need to revert back to it.
Is this the one that had
Clean it
the
up.
new executive?
Yes, the administrator.
Okay, I'm fine with leaving that one if there's someone
Who's working on it?
that's working on it, that's fine.
You want to give a deadline?
Already did.
Yeah,
So the next, it'll be on the next meeting agenda because it was tabled and at that point,
Is that okay? Just want to make sure I know.
You'll be back in 20 days.
Well, I just want to make sure so when someone comes to me, wants to know, I can tell them.
I want
this.
that I want.
something will be decided July 20th.
And that's all for 7. Unless you guys want me to check with Drew to see if opening up 7C again is appropriate, that's all for item 7.
I think that's all for item 7. Let's move to 8.
All right, let's move to 8.
Number 8, discussion regarding Chapter 18, Environment of the City of Alva, Oklahoma Code of Ordinances with attachments, Chapter 18, Environment, Alva Code of Ordinances.
Would you rather me pull up the website or this PDF?
Yes. Oh, the website will help us
Okay.
dance around a little easier. So I don't think you guys want to go line by line on every article in chapter 18. I'd like to hit the key points and get a recommendation. So,
Our whole goal with this is to highlight some things that we think are issues with the ordinance. Some of them you have hit on tonight.
and
Absolutely.
now we'll talk in them in full, and you guys can understand and see and read the language for yourself and tell you where we're at and kind of where we're locked. And
Then
some of
wouldn't
these.
it have been better if we'd have went through this
Yes.
before?
Well, all of those other properties, everything had already been, everything except the fees had been established, except for the 2 that needed declared dilapidated. So, I mean, we'd already gone through the ordinance process with all of those, and we were at the point for what fees do we assess when we abate them?
Kenneth, this will help when we start talking into it. As we go through chapter 18 and the articles, a lot of it tells us we have to bring all this to you every time. And I think with the review of the ordinance and you guys designating the manager or administrator, or, instead of coming back to council, we get your wishes and we put it in the ordinance and say, hey, this is how we're gonna move forward, and things move a whole lot quicker. And so we don't have to come back each time and go, hey, we're back here at council again, and here's the next property, how would you like to deal with it? You kinda already say, this is what we wanna see for the city of Alva. We wanna be motivated, and we wanna clean this town up. It needs it.
And then we could have a report letting us know what's been going
Yeah,
on.
and in Marshall Grimsley's monthly report, you'll have record of what's been declared, what actions have been taken, what, abatements have occurred, what fees or liens have been issued.
And we've been adding that. I don't know how many of you guys
Now,
read
if
those
somebody
reports.
wants to,
but
sorry,
it's in there.
sorry to interrupt.
No, you're
If
good.
somebody wants to, oppose it or whatever,
You mean like file an appeal?
yeah, do they have to come to the council then?
They have to file a written appeal within the city office to the city clerk, and then that notion gets filed elsewhere then. So,
But it's not just by one person saying,
You guys decide.
You guys.
that will have to go to us then.
Well, you guys decide what's in the ordinance, and staff follows the ordinance.
So,
That's something
I-
we can do. We can make it to where it's not just one person deciding that, where there's a committee or it comes to council, or
Okay.
however you want to do it.
yeah.
And that's what I have 2 questions that I kind of want some general direction on, and one is, does the city council want to lean towards maintaining authority over these issues in Chapter 18 environment? Does the city council lean towards wanting to delegate authority? And under what conditions do you want to maintain authority, and under what conditions do you want to delegate authority? We also need to have conversations regarding getting it into ordinance, what fee structure we're going to follow. We also need to get it into ordinance. Help me out. There's quite a few.
I think the more I go through it, the more I'll start talking.
Okay.
So, Chapter 18, city ordinances, is broken down into 3 different articles on it. Article 1 in general, we have nothing specified in there. There's a lot of things that do need to go into the generalization in this article that we've looked through, and that will make it cover all sections. So, as Kelly scrolls down to, go to nuisances. So, in these nuisances, these sections right in here, how the nuisance is defined, person responsible, time legalized, remedies against public nuisance, and so on down through here. You'll see that needs to be in the general specified part of the ordinance that covers all of the other rubbish, litter, different things, instead of it. You have to go all the way down to nuisance, instead of it needs to be up here too, because it doesn't redirect you. How this works is this article is self-sufficient in itself. And we need all that in the top generalized, saying it will cover and be followed and through all articles of Chapter 18 through Article 1 through 3 in it. It doesn't give us the ability to move swiftly with action in it. It gives us, there's a lot of good things that's in there that needs to be in all of them. You know, like habitual offenders. What are we going to do with habitual offenders if they continue to do it every year? I think Mr. Lars stated in a comment just a little bit ago, you know, what are we going to do? I mean, you're right. People, if we do that to one, they're going to say, well, I'll just let my property go to crap. Start stacking everything on because, the city can clean it up, you know. And, you know, this is where you guys have talked also too, that, you know, we could put in there and look through either committee-based by council, public citizen comments, whatever, however you want to do it. My recommendation would be those, you know, get some people that's interested and, you know, wanting to make the town, and just codify these ordinances to where they actually flow better and are consistent through it. So each one of these that come in have a 10-day. You got 10 days to clean it up. Or you got to bring a written form of action to the fire marshal and code official, either for extension, say maybe it rained 3 days out of the week and you didn't get to work on it. You know, something. If we have those communications in there and they're actually doing something, we can actually defer to that. We don't have that capability.
So is our goal today, looking through this, is for us to kind of share what we want the process to be, what we wanted to say.
Kind of the way you guys want to see it
Work
routed.
with Kelly and the city attorney to get it legal, and you'll bring it back to us at a future meeting, and then we'll approve it. But
Right.
so we're kind of seeking the opinion of what we want this to say today. That's okay.
And we're kind of 10 steps ahead already, been preparing for this. Fire Marshal Grimsley has researched a lot of towns, gone to several meetings with other code officials to see how other towns are treating this, and has some ideas to throw out, whether it be to, if the mayor elects a committee, and how you guys need to see who's on that committee, that we can show out and say, hey, these are what these towns are doing, these are how they're taking care of it to get these processes to move a whole lot faster on it. Because you'll get in here, I mean, if you have time, get on the Code of Ordinances and read chapter 18. It's not that long, but you got 30 days, you got 60 days. And then by the time that you get through the whole process, the season's over with, and then here we're back doing it again. It's a broken record that just, we keep circling back to, and like I told you guys earlier, it's the same properties, the same complainants every time. Some of the things that I do like, that you guys can do, and I want you to do it, any city councilman, employee of the city, can make note in writing to the mayor on any structure, nuisance, or anything to be put on the agenda to be taken care of. That's the quickest way.
So, is there a way that, like we had a public hearing today, and nobody showed up to speak? And it's kind of
typical, isn't it?
My opinion on that is, if somebody feels that you guys are doing wrong by them, I want them, not that you would, but I want them to have the avenue to be able to talk to council. But if we're talking cleaning up a yard, let's get these ordinances where you don't even have to come to us and ask about that. You just get it done. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't know if others fall in line with it. But.
Okay, and so let's dive deep into 18. Your yard can't be higher than 12 inches.
Mm-hmm.
How do you want me to handle it?
You mow. I mean,
No, how do you want me to handle
I'd
it?
like it to be like
In my office.
knocked on the door. Go to them, tell them their yard is too high. They have 10 days to mow it, or they receive a fine.
$750 fine right now, that's how it says.
it's too high.
That seems a little high.
I know, but that's what it is. That's what it is. That's why I'm bringing it to you guys' attention.
I live in Alva, I don't wanna live in an HOA though.
That's true, but if there's no structure, then.
I understand that, but I do not want to live in
So what
an
would you
HOA.
find me?
Well, and that's why it's at 12 inches and not 3 inches. Because if we're in an HOA, it would be at 3 inches.
Now, when we add one more section onto this for you guys to understand. Obnoxious weeds. You have obnoxious weeds on your deal, on your property, same thing. How do you want me to handle it?
Well, like those.
If you got pigweed, waterweed, Johnson grass, sumac, whatever, it specifies it in here. How do you want us to deal with that?
So if we can maybe start with timeframes. Let's start with timeframes. Let's start with trash, rubbish, tall weeds and grass, those things. I think those can be categorized the same for timeframes. I think dilapidated structures is a different timeframe.
That's what I was gonna say.
But I
It'd take
think
a lot longer.
abandoned vehicles, I think trash, I think those types of things.
Those things we need direction on.
Yeah.
How do you want us to handle it, because
When they've been contacted, 10 days and then a fine to be determined.
And I
So
was like
there's
that.
also a deal in there too that says I gotta send everything certified,
Okay.
return receipt, which I don't do any of my time until I know they received the letter.
Okay.
we
So
want,
from
we
Which
that-
want
will take 7 to 8 days.
Okay, well,
So
so from that, once you've got word they've received the letter, they have 10 days to fix the issue.
and we want to get away from certified mail.
I do.
If
It's cost.
knocking on the door and handing them a letter with a receipt that it was issued.
Can a police officer serve somebody like that?
Adam can serve
Yeah,
somebody.
Let's do that.
I mean,
But we need to specify it within the ordinance. Right now it says everything, what's certified mail now?
It's $10.40 certified mail. And
So-
I do that.
So what I'm hearing, and I'm taking notes, is that we want the option to do the quickest, most efficient, cost-effective notification possible.
Which is a letter that's on the property, whether staked or on the door, and mailed.
But
Regular
what I'm also hearing is we want evidence that it was received.
Yeah, I
Which
think,
I will get. I will have
Have to have
a firm
evidence.
yeah, I don't
from
want
the
to
post
stuff on
office.
their door and the person's gone for a
Right.
week and then they come back and they've got a big bill. So I would want verification that they.
Right, so how it should be done in this process is, Adam will go out there, post it on the property, this is how I see it, post it on the property, we take a photograph, it's time, date, and stamped on it, when it's being served, that's the notification. My recommendation also is too, if by the tax rolls, if the owner of the property is not a citizen of Alva, then we send a certified letter to them. That's when we send a certified letter. But as the ordinance in chapter 18 states, says it can be the owner by the tax rolls, the tenant of the property, because it might be the tenant that's causing the issue, and just getting a hold of the owner might remedy that issue too. Because we do have a lot of properties in Alva that aren't owned by citizens of Alva. So,
Do we, and I don't know how you, but like, if you served an old lady this, and she starts calling mowing companies around and no one can come for 2 weeks, how do we, can
So,
she submit something to
she
you
can
guys?
submit a letter to Fire Marshal Grimsley, and then you guys can elect. I think that's something that we'd probably bring back to you for recommendation on how you want to handle it. Then maybe if Greg has a church group that needs a service project, then they can contact that service project, because, there are people out there that do want to help, and there is, fixed income elderly that don't have the means on the whole deal. And we might reach out to the companies that mow around town and see if they want to do a service project, because there's some that might want to, and have the availability. Maybe that's something that we put together, or you guys elect, that maybe we give you $25 a fuel or something. I mean, be creative in my thinking when you do that. It may be just as simple as, hey, if you pay for the fuel, I'll mow the lawn.
So some of
I think
these
we're getting
things,
too far
yeah.
ahead, because we're still we've told them to clean it up. So what is the next step?
so notification, I've got down how we're gonna notify.
So once you notify and they don't bring a plan of action and it's not abated within 10 days, then it's fine.
So,
And now,
And then now it's scheduled, it needs to be scheduled for abatement or removal of the nuisance.
And when you say 10 days, I know this is minor, but is it 10 working days?
No, it's 10
Calendar.
days from the time that you're
10
serving.
days.
so what if they pay the fine and then, but don't do anything?
Then you issue them another citation and 10 days cleanup.
so
If they don't pay it, then it gets done.
everybody's good with 10 days on tall weeds and grass, trash and rubbish, inoperable vehicles, junk. Everybody's good with 10 days?
Not with vehicles. What if my dad gave me a car, I just can't afford to fix it up yet? I'm letting it sit
Well, there's, okay,
until I
so,
can afford to fix it.
so here's what the ordinance says on this. Can we go to that where you can't park it in your yard, you can't park it on the grass, it's gotta be in the driveway, can't be abandoned on the street.
That's actually already in the ordinance. I can't park in my grass.
You can if it's like an established type driveway.
Oh, I park in my grass all the time to move vehicles.
Well,
Do you leave it there for months on end? I mean.
No, 24 hours.
Okay, so, reasonable thought and expectations, 24 hours, we're not going around as yard police and,
whenever you have a roofing company.
I saw you parked that yesterday at 6 and now it's 8 o'clock on the next day, so.
You
We're not,
may not, but my neighbor may.
he can file a complaint, but then we investigate it just like anything else. Is the complaint valid or not? And you may have the car moved by that time.
Okay.
So, but the inoperable vehicles that's out in the public roadway, they can't be there. Every vehicle has to move within 24 hours of being parked. Can't park semi-trucks, trailers, combinations, and it's all stated in ordinance. It's just whether it gets enforced or not.
So you're telling me a guy has a yard and he keeps his trailer there that he uses once a month whenever he has to, he can't do that?
In his front yard,
I mean, front yard, back, how do you,
because it specifies.
does it specify front yard? Okay, that makes sense.
Well, you guys get to determine that as well.
And then,
I'm trying to stick to time frames right now, but
I just it's quite the read if you go through here. I mean, honestly, you'll see how antiquated our ordinances are. Take some time reading because they need updated.
And we're trying to make sure we have consensus direction, so when we go back to this, because there are parts, I mean, it's considered a nuisance to dance in the
To
public.
dance in the public.
So, I mean, there's some things like that I don't want to get into every line of this chapter of our code of ordinances, but there's things like that when we bring it back to you, there's some things that we're just going to take out because we recognize there's no applicability. But in terms of, we want some level of consistent direction so that when we go down through this line by line to prepare something to bring back to you, that it's pretty close.
Right.
We expect that you won't approve it the first time we present it to you, because I expect there'll be more discussion. But what we really would like to establish today is general guidelines. What are those time frames we're looking at? What are, when we talk about, well, so those general time frames, are we on the same page that on those items that we just talked about, tall weeds, the rubbish, the trash, the litter, the inoperable vehicles?
10 days, no plan, fine, then abate. Is that the consensus of the council? How you guys see that to move?
All right.
I do want on the record that Hoffman does want dancing on the street out of that. That's something he does enjoy.
Okay. We got 10 days.
Dancing in the street, we can tear down.
Dilapidated structures.
Those are so case by case.
So, as the ordinance,
We don't
we don't even have an
We don't even
ordinance
have anything in
on,
ordinance for
I'll wait and move on
dilapidated.
dilapidated structures. I was getting ready to say,
Well,
almost.
Just from a time frame standpoint.
What is the standard time, like if?
Well,
if
so
always, how long would
it
take
kind
to
of
get there?
falls under health and safety and, there's like rodents or access or different things like that. So I imagine most of you guys drive the streets of Alva. We got houses that half the walls are fell over on. We can abate it for anything that's health or safety hazard to the public, a fire hazard, if it's housing rodents or varmints or different things like that, we can abate that immediately without council action because it is a lot, and that's part of my job to go, yes, we have to tear this down because this is unsafe for the public on it. So it's kind of like in the ordinance. I mean, there's different things that says you can't have a refrigerator or freezer sitting on any property that could lock a child in there. You have to remove the locks, different things like that. It's a health and safety hazard, so it's given the authority to the fire chief or the designated official to abate that nuisance or that life safety hazard.
Do you know any time? I'm just thinking like if it costs $12,000 to tear down a house, a lot of people aren't going to have $12,000 in 60 days to tear it down. What is a fair time frame on giving people time to clear a structure?
If it's
If it's
public,
not a safety hazard.
not a safety hazard.
But it's been declared dilapidated and.
okay, so the ordinance says 6 months. The state statute says whatever the governing body declares, you have to hold true and get it completed by that date in the public meeting. The thing is council and the mayor, you guys as a whole, determine the budget also. So you have to take some of those things into consideration, where we at within our budget, how much money have we allotted for it, and if it's not a safety hazard, do we give them that 6 months, or is there going to be certain times a year that we're going to declare a certain amount of houses to be remediated or tore down? Maybe that's a direction that you guys look at on it, because the cost is high, or self-performing within using city staff and equipment.
So if you don't have strong opinions on what those time frames look like, I think consensus is that you want something that's fair to the property owner, fair to the neighbors, but also defined. And we can bring some, when it comes to that part of the puzzle, just with that general direction, I think that's enough for us to bring back at least something that you can say yes or no, or let's tweak it. Is that all right? And if you have any specific thoughts between now and then,
Yeah,
just reach out.
yeah, feel free to reach out, call us. If you elect to go home and read chapter 18 in the city code, which I hope you all do, that maybe you go, hey, you know, in section 18-103, I would like to kind of see it this way, and that'll give us a little bit of a direction. And we can, when we redline this to you, we're going to keep all the ordinance as it sets in there with strike language and redline it out with proposed language. And then we could put even recommendations by, say, Sammy says, you know, hey, I'd like to see this, and I could put that in there as a recommendation in the language change. But we get to be progressive, we have to move forward and get these things really lined out and how you guys see fit. We'll do the legwork if you just give us that
Have
direction.
you ever seen one of those, like, okay, let's say that someone inherits a property or whatever, they don't have the money to clean it up, and we're getting rid, it's coming up, like this house is in trouble, can we give them a time frame to try to sell the property before it's fine, and then let the new owner be aware that it's on our radar, and if they don't clean it up, if they're buying it under the assumption they're gonna have to clean it up?
Well, that should be a disclosure. If there's action that's been taken to
Yeah, with
declare
the
a
real estate
nuisance.
actions.
The nuisance passes on to all future owners of the property.
Yeah, so any dilapidation, declaring, or abatements all get filed at the county clerk's office. So if someone does file, or in both, yeah, county treasurer and the clerk's office. So they'll all know on the property, like they said, disclosed, should.
I got one more thing I want to pose to you. I was dealing with the past city manager, Mr. Ford, on this. And I may have talked with Kelly when he was the mayor. We have someone that wants to give us the property to abate it. Quick claim deed it to us, and then we take care of it. I'd like to see some direction of that. He's asked, you know, kind of where we're at in that situation. I don't have an answer for him because it really needs to go to, I mean, it would be, I guess, receiving a gift in kind, but also a headache that we have to.
But if the lot's worth $10,000, my cleanup's gonna be $10,000. Just get rid of it. Could eat it over the
So
city.
there are properties that, in Alva, that probably cleanup's 30, 40,000, and the lot's worth 4 or 5,000. We don't want those.
Right. And this is in our light industrial area. It sits right behind, it's a two-story old apartment complex that's across from Jim Scribner's and behind the mental health over there. They just want to deed it to us. It's gutted. That's a good thing. But they want us to tear it down to just quickly deed it to us.
So, I'm hearing that if there was a path to municipal ownership, you're not opposed.
No.
Okay.
And we could sell it.
We can sell it, we can work with organizations like Freedom West, we can, whatever it is. But a path to city ownership is not something you oppose. We would want to have a plan to liquidate it.
I wouldn't prefer it, but whatever gets cleaned up. And it would be on a case by case, correct?
And
With council approval.
Well, yeah, I think that all comes to you,
Yeah.
and you guys make those decisions in another meeting.
Because there's, well, this kind of goes back to the first item we talked about. election where people pay delinquent property taxes, that there was a path to citizen ownership similar to a tax delinquency ownership. Are you opposed to that if we can figure out some legal language that doesn't break laws?
And you can run, by law, you can run all those liens within the city clerk's office. It's easier, because they deal with it more often than we do, through the county treasurer's office. But it does specify in there that you can do that in-house if you deem to see that fit too. That's an option.
Is there any difference in expense by doing that?
It only costs us to file the lien. She collects it, she issues checks on a monthly basis to the city anyway. I mean,
It's free to file with the treasurer's office. Costs $18, $20 to file at the clerk's office.
yeah. And it really needs to be both. It needs to be filed at the treasurer's office, so the treasurer stamps it, and then it's filed at the clerk's office, so her stamp shows that that lien has already been assessed in the treasurer's office. And I did talk with Rachel Spellman and kind of got some guidance about how those processes need to be, and those are some of the recommendations that she would recommend to us. And I'd like that specified in the ordinance, that process of filing those liens, that it goes to the treasurer and then to the county clerk, so we get those stamps on it.
I would like to see some time frame on what other cities are doing for dilapidation, just out of curiosity. And for myself. Because I'm for cleaning up Alva, I don't want to.
And something else I'm a little confused on is the $750 fee that covers everything that's not covered. Can you elaborate on that? a little
Okay,
bit?
so.
Great segue to where I wanted to go next.
Yes.
Yeah, so basically you guys set the fee schedule on specified ordinances or actions, within our ordinance. Anything that's not specified with a fine in there refers to I call it the catch-all, and it's a $750. And that's something that you guys can look at, because it's pretty, kind of like I was saying earlier, it's a little bit harder to.
To 750?
No, it's
$750.
$750, yeah. So it's a little hard to write that $750 ticket. So my recommendation when I was talking with Kelly is, however you guys want to see it, whether it's $100 for a first offense, $200 for the second, $300 for the third, if you want to go to the third, and then a habitual offender, maybe that's the $750.
So right now, as our ordinance state, you could write Hoffman a $750 ticket for dancing
I would love to ride hard No, but in reality, yes. If he was in violation of tall weeds and grass or rubbish or litter on his property, he didn't do it within the 10 days, yes, he would be subject to a $750.
What about the dancing in the street?
Oh, or dancing in the street. Since it's not specified in there, yes, it'd be $750.
So
We should keep it, but stay.
what I would like to do, and this would be similar to how we set our utility rates every year. We would have the ordinance language state that fees and fines will be set by resolution by the city council. And so we would have a resolution regarding the fees and fines for chapter 18. And that's where we would go in and we would say, okay, it could be as simple as on these abatements, we're going to use the FEMA fee schedule. Or we could go in and say, if we're mowing, it's this much per square foot, times however tall it is. If we're, having to cut down trees or whatever, it's this much. We can get as specific or as simple as you want to make it. But I do think that it needs to be set by resolution and not by ordinance. 2 reasons. Every word that we put in an ordinance, sorry Marion, has to be published and has to be paid for. And so resolutions do not require that level of publication. And also, every time we do anything with an ordinance, if we change it,
The codification costs.
the codification costs are also involved in there. So from a budgetary standpoint, it's more cost effective to set rates and set the things that are going to change more frequently by resolution. Because I think the ordinance should be, in my opinion, something that is going to stand a longer test of time. The way costs go up and things like that, if we were to just simply set a cost in ordinance, we'd be changing our costs all the time and changing our ordinance all the time. But if you would like to see a fee schedule by resolution, we will bring that back as well. More specificity than FEMA rates, or simple?
Well, I mean, to me, like, the cleanup fee is different than the ticket they're getting.
Right.
Okay.
And I just want, just a little heed of warning. You get a tall weeds and grass that's 2 foot tall, and you send city equipment in there, like our mowers and different things, and you shell a motor or a shaft or something in there, I just take that cost, because it's really hard on our equipment. Even though we buy commercial grade equipment, it is still really hard cutting that stuff, and you don't know what's in there. You can walk it 14 times and you'll find something with a mower. I think all of us have done that in our lifetime, you know, but.
Do you guys feel FEMA fee scale is adequate?
It's more than adequate.
Does FEMA have a fee scale for mowing an overgrown yard?
They have,
Well, it's
just for the equipment.
It's equipment cost per hour,
yeah.
you know.
So
on
when we
it.
use FEMA for the equipment cost and then factor in our own labor, or would it just be?
So when you say it's more than adequate, I mean, is it,
It's pretty high.
so I don't know what, I think.
But it's a simple way of getting it.
Yeah, it's a simple way, and it's established already. It's something that you could kind of piggyback on, if that's something that you want to do right now and look at it at a later date to go, hey, bring us back the information, which I assume that you would, what these cost evaluations are, and then you guys can revisit it and look at it as a body, council body, and go, oh, that's, I think we can do it a little bit cheaper to help out, you know. I mean, that's kind of how I see it happening, if you guys will like so.
I think we just, yeah.
Well, and the other part about it is, as you guys talked about earlier, if there is evidence of a hardship, do we have a hardship consideration? And I don't know, legally what that would need to look at, but if there's interest of the council in having a hardship designation with certain criteria being met, can't just say I'm broke and I can't afford it. I mean, we'd have to have evidence that any financial institution or other,
You have to show like you're at the state's poverty level or something, declared poverty level or something.
and so I think, if you'd like us to put language in that there's nothing in here that has anything to do with hardship or anything like that.
But I remember when we were looking at utility rates, we talked about that, and that wasn't legal for us to do any sort of, if it was someone on fixed income, cap. Is it legally, are we allowed to take into consideration hardship?
I don't know how you would ever do it or prove it. Because like, your small business owners that look like they're making $100,000 a year when they're paying taxes, they're making like 10 grand a year. So they would fall under,
It's your call.
so.
Do you want hardship? Do
It's
you
how
want us to
you-
make an effort on hardship?
I
Or?
don't know
I
how you.
Well,
I mean, you
fair
can
with it.
definitely have the city attorney look into it,
Yeah,
see if
that's
that's
just
a
what Drew says.
possibility, and then we can start researching out with other towns, making those phone calls for recommendations if they have anything similar to on it, but, we just need to be moving progressively forward and having these conversations, if the mayor likes to get a committee, which I hope you do, with some citizens and some council members, to see how we want this to look forward and move forward to, and And, I think you might have more people knocking on your door wanting to be on that committee than most committees.
I know Gail wants to be on it.
Okay, so fines and fees, we'll bring back a recommendation and we'll put language in the ordinance itself that says it's set by resolution.
And we'll try to find some comparables, multiple options, just not one for you guys to consider on it.
Okay,
Even like for just yard mowing, could the city just see if any of the local companies want to mow the yard without? city
Adam
owner?
did do that, and none of them were
None of
interested.
them would do it, okay.
And the reason being, they damaged piece
Yeah,
of
I get
equipment.
Well, if we get serious on this and it starts happening more, they might revisit it. And
They might
maybe
revisit
a
it.
crew will, get some.
I still think
have
that you
some
do
mowers.
it and put it out there, at least for consideration, so you cover all bases. And that actually makes you guys do your due process as elected officials, that you're looking at all avenues and just, instead of sticking to
When you
one.
do put that out there, does that have to be a company, or could Joe just decide he's tired of that house, so he puts in a bid to clean
Have to have
clean
insurance.
up the yard?
You have to have insurance,
You have
and
to
then
have
they'd have to have a W-9.
So if a house needs mowed, are you saying Joe can't just go mow it?
no, he can go mow it,
Yeah,
Just not.
that's not what I'm saying.
just not for the city.
Just not on the cities we have,
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
yeah.
As a contracted.
I expect Joe to mow 5 yards this weekend. For free.
I just wanted to wire two
I'll
batteries.
I could probably match the amount that you do. I'd probably do that. On your own time, not as a city. Because I think you're probably good.
I already do it already, and Sammy knows. Mow yards on my own time.
Yes.
Okay. Fines and fees we'll bring back. But let's talk about what authority to be staff, what authority to be committee, what authority to be council.
Until we're tearing something down, I think staff can handle it. I mean, how do you guys feel about that?
I
I think Adam needs all the responsibilities he can have.
They need to set free.
and Tamir, it's been a blessing to be in the
Yeah.
office.
A lot of this has been done with the help of Tamara at hand too, which has been amazing.
Because there is a lot, and I think you guys all know that. And, just chipping away at it, showing a little progression and getting some of these done, I think the citizens would appreciate it.
So,
I want the city of Alva to look amazing, but it's really hard for me to tell people what they can and cannot do with the house they bought.
I mean, the state's
I mean,
making you pay property taxes.
it's just hard on me.
I don't think we're actually telling
No.
anyone how their house has to be.
Say not house, property.
I mean, we're not telling you how to, run your property either. It's just the fact
So
that
I know
you have
somebody
it
in
overgrown.
town that they love wildflowers. I know more about them, but they don't mow their yard because they literally have all these wildflowers. The grass ain't that tall, but the wildflowers are pretty tall,
Well, it's
Which
flowers, not grass. So.
but it's their whole yard.
If you look into chapter 18, it kind of talks a little bit about like agricultural stuff. So,
Well, zoned agriculture.
just like plants and
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean,
It
you-
talks about that.
You can specify what's a weed, what's a flower.
Well, when I look at the yard, it looks like,
I had a
it's not what I would want
Yeah.
my yard to be,
Sure.
but it's hard for me to tell them, you can't have it look like that.
But you only act on complaints, right?
Yeah, we only act on complaints.
Okay.
We're not out.
Now, that is part of what I would recommend that we change, because we are only acting on complaint.
Yes.
And there are some places that we should just be addressing with or without complaint.
And true, to that point,
So I would want language that gives discretion to the staff that whether we received a complaint or not, they have the discretion to address it. Now, if it's, in particularly with regard to the tall weeds and grasses and junk in yards and stuff like that, some of these things aren't getting turned in, but some of them are clearly not good.
sure.
And so I don't want us to be a complaint only enforcement office, but we do need to probably give some priority to the ones that are receiving complaints. So I would want the language to be consistent with that sentiment.
Just being complaints only for now, are we not gonna be busy as heck?
We're still busy.
We're more than busy.
Right, so do we need to add more to it?
I think you add that language in there, Kenneth, so once we kind of get ahead of a lot of this, then we can start managing it
Proactively.
And there's nothing in this current document that says that we're complaint only, right?
No, that's just my policy.
Okay, so I mean, whether it's in there or not, I mean, it's gonna be their discretion as, so.
Well, if we set it to say complaint only, it's complaint only.
That's what I'm saying, there's no reason to, we don't need to put that in there,
That's our working policy
Yes.
within my department, because there's so many that we can't go out and manage proactively and manage everything that's coming into the office at the same time. There's no way.
And other obligations.
I mean, there's complaints daily.
I do think there's, I do get where Ken's coming from, but I do think we live in a city, it's a shared space. And her, or whoever's flowers in the yard, him or her may love them, but it is devaluing the properties next to it, which is not fair to those people, in my opinion. And so it is a shared space.
If those neighbors aren't complaining,
Well, then, nothing will probably be done.
Yeah.
but if we go by,
Well, they're gonna use discretion.
Well,
They're not just,
and you have the right, Kenneth, under chapter 18, that if you don't think it's nice or needs to be taken care of, you ask the mayor to put it on the agenda for a date. That can happen.
So I'm hearing, in general, tall weeds, grasses, rubbish, trash, yada, 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 staff discretion, enforce the code. I'm hearing appeals come to the council. I'm hearing dilapidated structures go to committee and then go to council. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think,
Or
what was the last part again?
dilapidated structures?
I think that's getting expensive enough in a fee that it should go to something beyond just one person saying you can tear that house down personally.
If you're gonna have the committee, you're gonna have to have people that are committed to working that committee. And the mayor sets those committees. Is that how that works?
Yeah, with council approval, just because kind of folks and their willingness to participate in committees kind of waxes and wanes and over time, I would make it an option, but I would use language like the mayor may recommend a committee to address, but I wouldn't make it that the council shall establish a committee. Is that fair? It's an option.
Kind of do an and/or, the mayor can establish a committee and/or it could go to the governing body.
If there was an appeal, that the mayor could establish a committee to review the appeal and to collect information, to make a recommendation to council, or whatever, however you do it, you can do something like that.
And I'll want to use some consistent language throughout and probably in that general section. There's nothing in that general section, but I would want to say that, you
Yeah,
know,
they're just reserved ordinances.
the authorized official will define that, and it will be broad enough that if we don't, if Brian and Adam go out on a fire run and they both die when the roof collapses, that we've got somebody that can still address things, even if their title isn't fire chief or fire marshal. It'll never happen. You guys are too good. You're not going to win. But I don't want, because right now we have certain parts of this where it says the city inspector is responsible. You know what? We don't have a city inspector. We have a code enforcement officer. And I want to put some things in there that are general enough that if we change position titles or if we have a vacancy in a position, that we still have somebody addressing these issues that's defensible when we do so. Whereas if somebody is in the process of an abatement and they say, well, you're not following your own ordinances because it says the city inspector is supposed to do this, something that's defensible, if we were ever to be found liable for, you know, not following our own ordinances. I saw heads nodding, I guess, yeah, okay.
You're putting James to sleep.
He needs to be outside and dance.
Dance in the street. Get the fine ready, get the ticket ready.
Is there any, are we about to the end of all the things we were wanting to
Yeah,
pass?
I think so. I mean, I think we're kind of at that point, we kind of know your wishes of movement, to get something, to you, within current ordinance language with red line strike, recommendations for you to consider, and fee schedules on it with multiple recommendations. And maybe go ahead and attach some other towns that we have pulled these from so you guys can look at those.
Are there any other things that you guys want us to address in this?
What about dead trees that, I mean, they're dead enough that the bark is stripped off of them? That to me is.
We did talk about that. So we do have, Chief Treacle did a tree ordinance. I haven't revisited that in quite some time. I think it talks about the trimming and hanging over the roadways and height and I wanted to think that there was something in that talking about dead trees. We don't enforce that either, so.
There's one on the boulevard that, I don't know how that tree still stands, but,
A couple right there.
yeah.
There's one
And there's
at the corner
several
of
by my house.
Yeah.
Sunset and Young.
There's several. There's
They're just as bad as.
a lot of trees and then OG&E and.
And I know they're
comes
expensive
in.
to cut down, and I know a lot of people can't afford it.
Right.
That's part of the issue, I'm sure.
Well,
One of these
you
days-
know, there's a lot of trees that are in our easements, and he will think that since it's in the city-owned easement, it's our property, and that's not the case.
The thing about trees and easements, we have the authority to have them removed, but we don't have to have them removed. If they're impeding our easement, and we need to do work in that easement, then we can remove whatever is in the easement.
Correct.
But it's not our responsibility to do that at our cost.
No. That has been some questions in our office of trees and easements, and if we're responsible for them.
Mine was cut down. So,
Sorry about that. I tried.
I don't know. I cried. It's all right.
We'll have something ready. We'll at least have an update. I think we can have something prepared as a draft for consideration by the maybe not the July 20th, we'll shoot for that. But definitely by, we've got a good start on it though. We very well could have something by July 20th, but I know we've got some time off for holidays and other vacations and stuff, but we'll shoot to have something no later than August, but hopefully we will at minimum have an update for you, or maybe a few sections for review next meeting.
Yeah, I'll have staff here, but I.
With
I
no
will not
action,
be-
just review.
Well, if you love it, you can pass it.
Understand, but it's not a required action.
There's never required action.
You know, sometimes we get something on a Friday, we find out this is gonna be, you know, on the agenda. Well, if we're out of town and busy on the weekend, it's hard to go through a lot of information. This sounds like it may be a lot of information, so it'd be nice to have an extra day or two to look it over.
No, because
I read Article 18 in like 10 minutes, so they can't be changing that much.
Oh, really?
It's not long.
there's 3 sections, and I think when we kind of rearrange some stuff and clean it up, it'll make a whole lot more sense for flow, structure, and guidelines.
Well, there's technically 5 sections.
5 sections?
Yeah, there's 5.
Sorry, yeah, there is 5.
They're not.
And we would probably add a separate section on
Abatements.
dilapidated
Or
structures,
dilapidated structures, yeah.
where there isn't one right now. We would fill in general, leave the others, edit them, and then add dilapidated structures.
Because if we don't have it in ordinance, we revert back to the state statute, Title 50, right, Oklahoma State Statute. It's either in Title 11, which is under cities and towns, or Title 50.
Yes.
Addresses property nuisances and different things like that. So if we don't have anything specifically stated, we revert to it.
And we will probably put that language in the general section.
Right.
I think it's in there.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. I think I know where we're going. I think we have clarity on your direction, at least enough to get something in there to do final tweaks on.
And if we get a sleep cycle in and something comes to you, shoot it to us. You know, I'm my phone number, I'll give it to you. If you don't have Adams, we'll give it to you. Shoot a text, throw us questions, concerns. It's just gonna help the process go a little bit quicker.
2 o'clock in the morning sounds good to me.
May not get you might get one from me.
All right, thank you guys.
I did look up.
Thank you, Brian.
Life insurance companies consider hardship.
Thank you.
Like critical illness, things like that. Could possibly, like if someone was diagnosed with cancer and, you know, they had a loved one who was critically ill, I can, it cost pretty expensive for people, it may not be in your town. So there could be stuff like that that could be considered hardships by case basis on